book lovers, it is itsgswiz here, and I'm here today with a 7 on Sunday. If you didn't know, 7 on Sunday is hosted by me. I will link the Goodreads page down in the description where you can check it out and you can see the topics for the rest of the month. Or really, there's only one more topic after this part of the month. Oh, by the way, I'm drinking Goncha. I needed some bubble tea. Thank God for Uber Eats. And today's topic will be 7 characters that you identify with. Pretty much finding more than just one similarity or just one thing that's relatable about them. Where you fully identify with the character and you feel like their journey is similar to your journey. Or I don't know, they're displaying certain behaviors that you do as well. So I pretty much just explained it in that brief period of time. Sorry, my hair is still drying, so like if I do this or do that, I'm just trying to dry it out. Probably by the time this video is done, it'll be normal again. Without further ado, let's actually get back to the video. The first character I'm going to be mentioning that I identify with is like literally no surprise to a lot of people. A lot of people know that I highly and closely identify with Tris Pryor. I like how Tris is portrayed in this book. And since reading Divergent, I am caught between Tris and another character who I'm going to mention next, who I highly identify with. And I do think that that does come from the fact that Veronica Roth is an amazing writer when it does come to her characters and when it comes to not just their relatability, but what they go through and how they go through it, how they respond to it. And I just find her protagonist to feel so human, to not feel one-dimensional. That's what I appreciate about Tris Pryor and some of the other protagonists that she's written about. But I love Tris Pryor specifically because we get to see this whole entire journey, this whole arc of her going from a place where she felt like she doesn't belong to all of a sudden belonging again, to all of a sudden knowing she doesn't belong, and she's okay with that. I'm inspired by her not just because she is my hero, but because she is a hero like me. She's not a chosen one. She is pretty much Divergent. I'm Divergent. I very much know that. The next character I'm going to be talking about goes among the same lines as Tris Pryor, who I've just previously mentioned, but not exactly the same lines. They're not the exact same character. They are written by the exact same author. I'm appreciative that this author has written this character, but Veronica Roth wrote this specific character who is more mature in her current circumstances, and that, my friends, is Sloane from Chosen Ones. Now, first of all, I'm extremely bitter at the bookseller who I've ordered this book from, and they have not brought it to me yet. I am the biggest fan of Chosen Ones, right? And I still don't have a freaking copy. I am so bitter, guys. I need to calm down, sorry. Anyway, getting past my bitterness, we'll shove that to the side for now. Chosen Ones by Veronica Roth, favorite book of the year. Just 1 second. My video is still recording.
Yeah, I know. You just said just 1 second.
Yeah, true. Go on.
No, I was gonna ask.
Anyway, getting back to what I was saying about Chosen Ones by Veronica Roth. I've listened to this book on audio 3 times. I love it. Sloane as a character is one of my favorite characters ever written because she's very much similar to Tris Pryor in a way that she conveys her experience through her character. You can see that her attitudes are changed based off of the traumatic experiences that she has gone through. I admire that a lot, but at the very same time, it shows a lot of resilience. Both Tris and Sloane show their stubbornness in different ways, but Sloane, from what I've seen, because this book takes place 10 years in the future after what she's gone through, it's not like you're experiencing the shame of her in the moment as often as you are with Tris. Whereas Sloane, because she has gone through that and because she's gone through all the PTSD that she's had to experience, I love that you get to see her as a character unapologetically accepting that she's gone through that and unapologetically accepting that she is the way that she is and she knows her value. That's a character that I can relate to as well. I feel like I related to Tris a lot more when I first read Divergent, and I still do, but I think at this stage in my life where I'm in my mid-20s right now, I've gone through a lot of traumatic incidents. Sloane is someone who I don't just identify with, but I look up to and I kind of seek to be like in some sort of way. She's someone who I highly admire. Going back to YA now, and I'm going to be talking about Cress from the Lunar Chronicles. I mean, who cannot identify with Cress? Now, I get it. A lot of people cannot identify with Cress. I was caught between Cress and Scarlet because I love Scarlet's feistiness. I love that she is loyal. I love that she will fight, and that's the kind of person that I am, but also sometimes I'm like Cress. I'm the person who just wants to chill and fangirl over the love of their life. No, that's what I love about Cress, honestly. She's just so full of heart. She's shy, she's nervous, but she fangirls from afar, and that is what I do. So that is how I identify with Cress, and I love how Marissa Meyer is so good at writing and putting things into her characters. Cress is just one of the most relatable characters that she's written, and like, I know that Marissa Meyer has written so many relatable characters and so many characters that we can identify with, but the one who is most identified with, I'm pretty sure everybody in the booktube community can collectively agree to this, is Cress. She is adorable and she's just like a lot of us. I could see myself in Cress for sure. I like this book a lot and it's probably one of my favorite books in the series. I'm not gonna lie. The next character I'm gonna mention is a character that I've always loved, I've always adored. He's kind of my fictional crush. Not just because he's cute and he's awkward and stuff, but also because I can relate to him. Even if I'm not with him like, you know, romantically, I'd be really good friends with him. Simon Lewis from the Mortal Instruments series. Now, I am like #1 in the Simon Lewis fan club, okay? I swear, no one praises Simon Lewis as much as I do. I'm waiting for the day when I find someone who loves Simon Lewis wholeheartedly and will not shut up about Simon Lewis. No, they will not bring up Jason. No, they will not bring up Alec Lightwood. They will first and foremost praise Simon Lewis because he's such an unproblematic being. I would dare to say, just like Cress, Simon Lewis is kind of that person who is a fish out of water. He's very funny, he's socially awkward. I think that Clary should have chosen him over Jace. I'm joking, I'm not mad about that. Simon and Isabel happened, so yeah, they're my OTP really. Love Simon because he is so kind and so gentle, and the way that I relate to him is the fact that I guess I'm quirky. When I was reading the series, I could not help but thinking I mostly identified with Simon Lewis and I related to him the very most. Also, Isabel Lightwood, very similar. As I kept on reading the series, it got better with my relationship with her, but Simon Lewis was that kind of person for me who I could deeply resonate with. I've just always really loved him, you know? And even though City of Fallen Angels was not my favorite book in the series, I without a doubt can say that he is one of my favorite characters in the series. Alright, so we're moving on to April May from An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this in almost every single one of my videos, like bam, 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 bam. Literally, I think the last 3 videos I've posted on my channel, I've mentioned this book. I guess you guys know how much I love this book, even though I need to reread it so bad, but I love April May because I can kind of relate to her. Back in 2018 when this book came out, and when I was relevant, my channel grew overnight. It was so funny. I posted a video, which a lot of you guys know me by, and you know what? I've wanted to do a reaction video on that video for a very long time, so let me know if you guys want me to do a reaction video on that, because I'd find that to be really funny, considering that some of my views are similar, but some of my views have changed, but mostly similar. Anyway, getting back to April May's character, I loved reading about her character because at that very moment that I was reading her character and my channel started increasing in numbers, I could resonate with her, I could understand her, and I could identify with her. I just love that she was trying to keep her sanity throughout the whole thing. It was so weird that people were trying to put stigmas and false headlines onto her, or just like, I don't know, assume that she was someone who she was not throughout this book. I found that to be so weird, but I figured out that, you know what, no matter how many times you try to explain to other people who you really are, they can get it wrong very easily, or they can choose to write a narrative for you themselves. I've noticed a lot of people have done that with not just myself, but a lot of people here on BookTube. And so that is why I like the message of An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green, and I also like April May as a character. I like how she's quirky, she's very humorous. I didn't just identify with her, I enjoyed reading her as a character. The next 2 characters I'm going to be mentioning are going to be in the same manga series. I've been talking about this series on my channel. I bring it up without any context because I don't know if you guys were following me at the very same time that I started reading it and following it religiously, but I did at some point. When I started making BookTube videos again this year more frequently, I was already like past halfway through the series and I only had a few volumes left, and I still only have a few volumes left. But there are these 2 characters that I relate to, and they are the 2 main characters of the series. Actually, there are 3 main characters of the series, and the one I'm leaving out from here is Griffith. We don't like Griffith. We do not stand Griffith in this house. Do not try to tell me in the comments that Griffith did nothing wrong. Don't. Because honestly, you'll just upset me. I'm talking about Berserk. Now, who do I talk about first? Do I talk about Guts or do I talk about Casca? I relate to Casca in a similar way that I do with both Triss and Sloane that I mentioned previously. The things that she's experienced in her life has shaped her and has shaped her behavior. I'm not saying that I fully relate to Casca at the state that she is now. We're talking about Golden Age Casca, where she was slowly starting to share her story, or at least we got to see her story through what Kentaro Mora gave us. I figured at first when I was starting to read this series, I was thinking, what on earth is her deal? Why Can't she just be cool with everything? And then when I came to realize that Griffith kind of uses her in a very misogynistic way, it made me realize, I get it as a female, I'd hate to be treated that way. And then not only that, her character motivations did make sense, but I love that she was able to open up and she was able to trust eventually. And that kind of reminds me of when I have my guard up and then eventually I'm able to open myself up to someone. I love Casca because she is a very relatable character that I can personally identify with. I feel sad talking about her because anybody who has read this series knows the night of the eclipse. That was so sad and she did not deserve that. So now we are talking about guts. And yes, a lot of women or a lot of people who are attracted to male who read Berserk, we can all agree, if we don't find anybody like ride or die style like Guts in our lives, then we honestly deserve better. But seriously, anyway, getting back to Guts, I love how Guts is so tough and yet he is so loyal at the very same time. But how I started reading Berserk, actually it's very funny. So I'm just gonna take you on a little journey and talk about the time that myself and Camillo were at Kinokuniya. We were going to the manga section and he picked up Berserk. He's like, you'll never read Berserk. Like as a joke, I'm just like, why are you attacking me all of a sudden? We weren't even like together back then. But the reason why he said it was because that it was very graphic and he didn't think that I would handle it. And I'm just like, you know what? Try me. I'm gonna read Berserk. But before I started reading Berserk, he said to me, even though he said like I would have probably never read it, he told me the reason why he likes Berserk is because this character is always faced with his demons. Guts is always faced with his demons, and like it's pretty literal in here. There are demons in here, there are supernatural things in here. It's crazy stuff. He's always faced to fight that, but it's such a metaphor for life. And he was talking about that and how it inspires him to fight his demons every day. Even though he told me I'd probably never read Berserk. That really intrigued me, not just because I wanted to impress him, but because I wanted to know what was up. I decided to read Berserk, and I do not regret that. Berserk is an amazing manga series. Trust me though, if you are under 18, I wouldn't encourage it. Probably not suggest Berserk if you are younger at all. It is gruesome, but also it's pretty heavy. It's pretty deep. It can trigger you to either cry or scream or yeah, it's insane. Also, emotional trauma. Because as much as I love Camillo, he has emotionally traumatized me by recommending Berserk to me, even though he told me he bet I'd never read it. It's your fault, Camillo. Anyway, getting back to Guts. I pretty much explained why you can identify with him as a character. I think everybody can identify with Guts and his struggle, even though their struggle isn't as specific to Guts's as Berserk actually is. I think Guts was written in such a way where someone has to fight the good fight. Someone has to fight for themselves and know their value, but not even just themselves, for the people. It really is sad, and you do feel for Guts sometimes because as much as he is very much human, there are times where he is faced with his internal darkness as well. And it kind of makes him not really just a hero, a very morally gray character, an anti-hero if you will. That's what I have to say about Guts. There's a lot of things that I could say, but if I keep on going on, I will spoil the plot. He is without a doubt probably the most relatable male character I've ever read in a story. If you have not yet read Berserk, and if you think that you can stomach it, read Berserk. Alright, so that's gonna be it for this video today, book lovers. If you want to purchase any of the books that I mentioned in this video today, all the Book Depository purchase links will be down in the description where you can check them out, you can purchase them, and you can help me out by doing so. And of course, I also have social medias. I'm at itsgswizzelbooks on Twitter and Instagram, and I'm also at Goodreads. That's www.goodreads.com/gswizzle. And before I leave, I just want to quickly mention that you can still help out the Black Lives Matter movement. Down in the description below, you will find a link that will take you to some petitions that you can sign, some resources that you can check out, and some funds or charities that you can donate to. I highly encourage you guys, if you have not yet helped out or if you want to continue to help out, please check those links out. I love you, book lovers, and I will see you later. Peace.
Started out with half and I flipped it into double. Started out with half and I flipped it into double.